And I want to thank, can everyone hear me okay?
I'll do a brief introduction with the SBDC crowd first before we get started. For those of you, I think most of you are familiar with the SBDC, but for those who are not, the Small Business Development Center at Rockford Chamber is a part of a network through Illinois and across the country that provides confidential business information, guidance and training, as well as other resources to startup and existing small businesses. With that, I'll do some brief introductions. I am Heather Kelly. I'm the marketing consultant. And on the call here, we have Mike Mastriani,
Hello.
who's also a business consultant, as well as Vince Shirelli. Vince, just a side note, we'll have a QuickBooks workshop this evening, May 6th and May 13th. From 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. And I can put the links, the information into the chat for you if you would like to register for those sessions. Tonight is the beginners class, and then he'll have parts 2 and 3 in the coming weeks. So be sure to sign up for that. If any of you are looking for guidance with your budgets, business planning, marketing activities, or human resources, we here at the SBDC are available to help you, and our services are at no cost. So with that, I will introduce our speaker. We have Pamela Lopez Fettis from Growth Dimensions, and she will talk about local resources that are available to small businesses. So with that, I will turn it over to Pam.
Thank you, Heather. I want to thank the SBDC for inviting us to present today and share what Growth Dimensions Economic Development currently does. And I want to also thank everyone for being here and talking and learning more about our organization, the impact that we've had on businesses in our community. I also wanted to highlight that Heather Wick is our business manager and responsible for some of the programs that I'm going to be talking to you about today. So we look forward to sharing this information. So many of our people may not know what economic development really does, because it really is customized to each community and what their needs are. But in general, what we do is, I'm sorry, going too far ahead. What we do is we provide an analysis of and understanding what the weaknesses and strengths are of our region. We also try to advocate the interests of the businesses and the households, and try to advocate on your behalf about what is needed. And also by providing a visionary analysis of what is needed in the future and try to champion some of those important priorities that we have in our community. We also serve as a catalyst to our community, providing some of those initiatives and incentives and investments that are available, and fulfill some of those gaps that aren't being met for our businesses. And then part of that is trying to educate our community. And part of that is also informing about the cost-benefit analysis. So in our area, we've been involved in increasing the utilization of services and also collaborating with some of our local and global partners in order to deliver those resources. And that includes some of our federal resources and engaging on an international as well as national basis, connecting small businesses to resources outside the community and sometimes increasing their customer base is a resource that we're continually trying to elaborate on. Even though we at Growth Dimensions may not have the answers, we try to connect businesses with those resources that they may be able to provide those answers for you. So that's part of what we at Growth Dimensions try to address. And our end goal is really to foster that those relationships for our businesses and increase your opportunity to grow. So at Growth Dimensions, we have focused on 4 priorities. One is marketing Boone County and identifying areas that are our greatest strengths and opportunities. We try to develop that infrastructure because sometimes we don't have what we need to market. So we have had space available. Sometimes we have buildings available, and sometimes we don't. So let's say we have a company that has a need for a particular size building. We don't have that need, but or we don't have that available. But maybe the infrastructure is not there. So maybe it's water, sewer, maybe it's high-speed internet, utilities that we need to develop in our area so we can grow and we can build buildings there that will be meeting the business needs. And again, we talked about connecting those business resources to achieve further investments in our community and sustaining our economic development. Because if people don't know what we do and what impact that we do have, then it's hard for people to justify to contribute toward the what we're trying to achieve. So part of this is also providing information about labor market and workforce development. So there's a lot of things that have happened through COVID, and part of those had to make us adjust how we deliver our services and what we've needed to focus on. So we started something called Forward Boone back in March of 2020 now. It's been over a year that we started this. We were watching the climate of how COVID was affecting the businesses on an international basis and how our local businesses were being affected. So we knew it was just a matter of time where we needed to respond. And when we did in our community, we weren't doing it together. Everyone was focusing on what they needed to be accomplished, trying to respond as quickly and as efficiently as they could. But unfortunately, we weren't doing it in a seamless manner. So we gathered partners that were representative of local government, workforce development, education, healthcare, business organizations, nonprofits, and regional partners to form Forward Boone County, in which our leaders work together in order to address the impact of COVID and how we needed to respond to our businesses and provide them with information in real time. So part of that is we provided forward forums. We have access to resources that are available to businesses. We connected them with services that were available in the community. We tried to develop what was in the pipeline and provide them with guiding tools. So some of our businesses in our area, because they were international businesses, developed some toolkits in which we used and we shared with the state of Illinois. And they were able to provide guidelines for business based on some of these toolkits. We also worked with our municipalities to distribute grants that were available through this pandemic, and were effective in bringing in resources that were well over not only the Back to Business grant, but other grant through the CURES program. And they totaled well over 500,000 in our community. So, and there's still resources available. We also started a program called the Venture Program. Now, this was a program to target small businesses, and they could be aspiring businesses as well as existing entrepreneurs in our community that were interested in growing. In discussing some of those programs and some of those needs with these Small Business Development Center, we found that there was huge gaps in what our communities were offering, and we wanted to fill those gaps. So in part of that, we wanted to develop a venture program that would respond to the needs of our aspiring and existing entrepreneurs. So I'll share more details about that, but I wanted to kind of highlight that here, and that was in conjunction with a lot of the programs that we had. We want some of those gaps that we saw in our community. Another one was the Automotive Innovation Network. This program is geared toward addressing our workforce and innovation and training needs with the challenges that our automotive industry is facing. So as we know, the automotive industry is changing to incorporate more automation and electrification into their vehicles. So we have to respond to make sure that all of our suppliers and all of our community is responding to that need. And then part of that is developing a training program that is responsive to those needs. So that being the Advanced Technology Center, and we're working with them to implement such programs that are closer linked to what the business needs are. And they're going to have a lot of components that are going to be addressing those. So the Advanced Technology Center that will be, had started construction at the old Shopco building in Belvedere, and they're set to open this August. Their programs currently are focused on mechatronics, welding, supply chain and logistics, CNC machining, and meteorology lab, as well as automotive and truck driving and lean manufacturing. What I really like about this building or the system they've created, it's better connected with what the business needs are. So if a business has a particular training need in advanced technology, they can actually bring in that equipment. They can train those individuals, and then they could remove that equipment. So it's more flexible type of training opportunities. And their automotive section is actually not even completely developed yet, because it's going to be the based on what the high demands are in careers and the skilled workforce that's needed in the community. So that's where it would be modified based on what the automotive industry had stated that they needed. So we're just really excited, because this is, I think, some of the programs that are very closely connected to the needs of our businesses and what they aspire, our future needs might be. Another program that we've been focusing on, as I mentioned, the Forward Boon. These are just some of the things that we've created. We have a system in which we're trying to provide vaccine support. We've had volunteers that have been participating in the clinics. We've been sharing information about where those vaccine clinics are available. We're providing information to our employers, actually bringing some of those clinics into the employers, so they don't have to, the workforce doesn't have to leave to get vaccinated, actually bringing the health department there. Promoting those testing sites and providing, like I said, those key information where those webinars and forward forums are available, and providing real-time updates for our community. So businesses have one place and the community has one place that they have to go to for information. Some of this information that we've created has actually been used in other states with companies that have had multiple locations. So we encourage that they've used some of the information and format it to what their needs are in those states. So some of the key information that we're here to today is learning about what is available to small business and entrepreneurs. So as I mentioned, a lot of our discussion started with talking with the Small Business Development Center and other resources that were available to businesses, and finding out what those gaps are. We are not in the position to duplicate what already exists. What we want to do is help connect businesses to what is available to them, and try to address gaps that are in the program. But our businesses and our entrepreneurs are really at the center of our services and of the venture program. So part of that is connecting those accessing to resources, and that could be, loans available to our businesses. It could be suppliers. So maybe it is, what I need to increase my customer base, but I need a supplier locally that will help provide me with the materials that I need. So making those connections, it's helping them develop those ideas and create that business plan in order to carry out that. And we find that a lot of businesses get into the, they've gotten to business because they're passionate about what they do, but they don't have a very clear plan. Or when there's an interruption in their plan, they may not have dug deeper in a particular area, such as marketing or financial planning. So we're here to help them support those ideas. So one of those programs is the Venture Fast Track program, and the other one is a Compass program that we've developed. But it's also, again, developing those relationships, the infrastructure, the culture that will help improve that or help that program or the employer grow and sustain themselves. So the Fast Track program, let me share with you, we've had two Fast Track programs, one for aspiring entrepreneurs and one for existing entrepreneurs last year. We're anticipating to have another one launched this coming year. This was a program, and we've been very fortunate to have the support and the sponsorships to the Kauffman Foundation. They have highlighted or provided us with resources as well as with best practices that we needed to do in order to help you. So the first one that we had committed to was their Fast Track training program. This is a facilitator-directed program in which we have two facilitators that are very well versed, entrepreneurs themselves, and they provide 30 hours of facilitation over a 10-week training program. And they try to focus on a few areas, and it depends on who are the businesses involved in, where they will dig deeper. So sometimes it's how do they create that, develop that idea? How do they, what's the research that they need to do? What type of, what did they need to do before they actually find that whether or not their idea has some support behind it? So like I said, people want to do things and they're very passionate about what they want to do, but maybe it's not a clear and developed business idea. And so this will help them develop that idea and then position themselves. Where do they need to locate? How do they need to develop or market themselves? How do they need to position themselves in a market that will make them be able to support their business and be able to grow, and then how they commit to that business and refine that idea, and then last is launching that idea. So it takes them through this process, and there's a worksheet that they work on. There's homework that they have. So when I'm talking about 30 hours, this is facilitated time in class, but there's homework behind it, and it is work. And it's really trying to put them in a position to succeed. We found that this is not only beneficial for businesses that are interested in starting up or interested in businesses that are currently in process or have been developed, but it's also good for businesses that are maybe looking at developing that pipeline. So we've had people that are interested in developing leaders within their business, and they want to have somebody be more involved in maybe being a director, or they want to hand over their business to their child, or another employee is looking to maybe purchase the business. How do they position that person's going to be more successful? So we've had two classes that we've had 11 people participate, 7 that have completed, and that they are building their program and building their class or their business based on these concepts. And this service is available to them ongoing. So we provide ongoing counseling for them. So they're getting that mentoring from the entrepreneurs and our facilitators ongoing, and from each other. So it's a great group to connect to. Another program that we're working on, and again, with the support of the Kauffman Foundation, the Small Business Development Center, and a group called Transform Rockford, if you're not familiar with them, which we're working together to develop that a representation of available regional resources that serve our local entrepreneurs. So this innovative graphic design is provides you with resources depending on where you are in your, I would like to say, your plan. So a business goes through what I say a business cycle, depending on what your needs are. So there's times where you have a concept and startup needs, and then there's other times where you want to grow and develop, and there's times that you're going back to that concept phase. So a business needs change throughout that period of time. We want to make sure that you have available contacts and resources available to you that are available in our community that highlight your needs today and tomorrow. So today it might be, I need connection with legal counsel. How do I set up my business? How do I become an LLC? Maybe tomorrow you might need, I need a building. Who do I talk to about, zoning requirements or building codes? Who do I talk to about marketing ideas? Maybe I need a workforce. How do I develop a workforce system? And maybe do I look into QuickBooks? Do I look into other financial resources? Do I need an HR firm to help me with that? So these are tools that will be available at your fingertips and throughout our community. And part of our process is to evaluate what we're missing. What do you need that we're not addressing in our community? And how do we need to bring those resources to you? We want to make this as simple a process as it can be for our entrepreneurs. Our success is your success. And so together as partners within our region, we want to continue that. And last, I wanted to share that it would be hard to address within the period of time that we have all the resources that are available to you, but we do post on our website. We have resources to businesses that focus on sites and buildings that are available, infrastructure maps about, where you need to go or, what's available to you, what locations are for heavy manufacturing, what are for retail, others for other commercial buildings, maybe some labor market information that you need to, justify, is there a need for my business idea in our area? Or how do I get, do I have a lot of competitors? How do I get that information? So there's a number of resources available. Also, something that we're newly developing is resources available for businesses that are interested in connecting to sell their product outside the country. So getting involved with foreign investment and trade and partnerships are new to a lot of business, and a lot of us don't know where to start. So we have a number of resources that can connect you with that. And another thing that we have is access to funding. So sometimes there's incentives that communities have, sometimes there's grants, and sometimes it's not just the community, sometimes there's some through the state. So we want to make sure that, again, you have those resources at your fingertips. And so this is a growing list of resources that are available. And I think finally it's what information is out there. So we try to provide events and calendars of business or organizations that are providing some key information for your benefit that you can tap into. That's all I have, and I was wondering if there's any questions.
I have one. Back a couple of screens to, I forget what it said. Was that an actual chart of actual contact information? Because it was pretty small, or was that just a sample?
This is a sample. We
Okay.
will finish this product. We're in the process of inviting our resource partners to a meeting. This product will be completed probably by the end of June.
Okay.
Is our goal.
Okay.
maybe
Yep.
July, the very latest, but this is going to be an ongoing list too. So we're going to maintain this list. So if there's resources that come into our community that we want to add to that, then we're going to connect with them and provide that to everybody. But we want to first provide resources that are at no or low cost, basically from nonprofit or government organizations available to our businesses. Then we'll also provide other lists and resources of others that might be of cost, that might be helpful to you. So there's times where we find that commercial banking might be a need. You might need to connect with a commercial banker. You might need to connect with a legal assistance or a website designer. How do we engage with some of those resources? And we want to make sure that those are as accessed in one place for you.
Any other questions? Okay. Pam, thank you so much for your presentation. Lots of great information. And again, we will have this recording available on our website within the next few days so that others can review it. We will promote it. And Pam, I know you will as well. A reminder that our next week, our class will be Access to Capital and Coaching, presented by Mary Tritzes, the Director of Community Business Allies. That's next Thursday at 11 a.m. And also next week, Vince will continue on with part 2 of his QuickBooks workshop from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. And we'll be sending, I put a link in the chat for his presentation tonight, and we'll be sending out a new link in an email shortly, also with our promotions for next week's workshops. All right.
Great.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank
great
you very
weekend.
much. You too. Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.